We can't tell you all how excited we were to get to Sydney. I mean, who wouldn't be? It's Sydney. The Opera House, the Harbour Bridge with its iconic New Year's fireworks, the legendary Bondi Beach. We were buzzing. Now, before we cause a diplomatic incident, let us say this. We did enjoy our time in Sydney. But if we are being brutally honest, by the time we left, we had both reached the same conclusion.
Sorry guys, but Sydney is a bit overrated. It's certainly not a bad city, and there is plenty to keep you busy for a couple of days. But Sydney lacks something which it's hard to properly define. It doesn't have Adelaide's beautiful Botanical Gardens or the rat run of side streets which make Melbourne so much fun. It doesn't have the grittiness of Alice Springs, and it's just too big to be easily manageable in the way that you can walk around Perth. It doesn't have Adelaide's amazing central food market or museums and galleries to match Melbourne. Its beaches are nice, but they get super crowded at weekends, and there are many better beaches only a few hours away. And yes, the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House are brilliant when you first see them. Really, they are. But once you've seen them a couple of times, the wow factor starts to wear off, and you become acutely aware of the thousands of tourists all around you in the harbour who've turned up on yet another cruise ship to flood the city with even more people for the day.
We aren't trying to crap on Sydney, and perhaps to be fair to it, our expectations were just too high. But, having been charmed and amazed by so many other places in Australia, if we are being honest, we expected more.
Which left us with a bit of a conundrum. Downbeat videos just aren't our style, and we don't want to leave you with the impression that Sydney is not worth visiting. It is. So instead, let's try this. We wouldn't recommend visiting Sydney for more than 3 or 4 nights, but if you are planning to take, say, a 10-day holiday to Australia, you can have the most fantastic time if you're willing to venture just a few hours from Sydney by car. So, these are our highlights from Sydney, and a few recommendations for some brilliant places to spend a couple of nights, all of which are only an hour or 2 away.
Let's get to it.
Hello!
We made it!
We have waited to be here for a very long time.
Sydney Harbour Bridge. And the Sydney Opera House.
And it's just here. We're here.
Sun's out. Alright, we're on the ferry out to Manly. Got the Harbour Bridge on one side and the Sydney Opera House on the other. About a 20-minute ferry ride from Circular Quay, Sydney's main ferry terminal, is the beachside suburb of Manly. A favourite spot for both locals and tourists, Manly is a fun little town bursting with bars, restaurants and shops.
Every Sunday, Manly's main street is taken over by a large market, with stalls selling beach fashion, locally crafted accessories and plenty more.
It's not every day that you stand at a train station and see the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Opera House in the background. Absolutely amazing. So cool. We may have just found the best bench anywhere in Sydney. Because check out that view. Milson's Point. Really nice. I'm actually well worth getting on the train here just to get the train over the bridge, which is really cool as well.
And it's not busy at all, there's no one here, and you've got probably one of the best views of the entire downtown. Lucky us!
Yeah, I mean it helps that it's Monday and it's raining, so people are staying away. But that aside, it's really nice. We are walking over the Sydney Harbour Bridge. You can see the Opera House over there. How beautiful is that? And there is my inquisitive co-presenter. If you're very rich, you can walk over the top. It takes like 3.5 hours. Okay, we've just come off of the Harbour Bridge. We're on the south side now. We're in an area called the Rocks. This is the oldest part of Sydney. Standing here, you just get a little bit of a sense of how old this city is. You can just get a feel of some of the architecture going back 150 years or more. It's quite quirky and fun now. I suspect in times gone by it was quite an unpleasant place. I love how you can just see a little bit of the bridge sticking out down what is otherwise a very old street. I love this. If you sort of look straight ahead of you, you've got a sense of what this place was, and then you look up and you can see what it's become. This may not look like much, but it's called Cadman's Cottage, and it is the oldest surviving brick-built building in Australia. 1819 it was built. We have hit the high rises. We're at a place called Pitt Street. Definitely the business district. It feels kind of like a less stressed out New York. It's quite nice. I think we just found Sydney's answer to the Burlington Arcade. And it's stunning. We are on the fully pedestrianised George Street, and it's quite cool. Okay, next up on the shopping hit list is the Queen Victoria building. It's brilliant. 4 floors of amazing shops, and it connects straight to the town centre train station. How grand is that for the inside of a shopping centre? Beautiful. Sydney Town Hall.
After a busy day in Sydney, we went out for a much needed drink before having some dinner and then heading home for the night.
Big cheers from us. Good morning. It's 1:30. We had a very lazy morning and we're now enjoying breakfast for lunch.
We are in King's Cross. Going for a wander around what used to be the entertainment and red light district and is now one of many coffee and drink and food hubs. And it's quite nice. How lovely these balconies are, covered in plants. And as you look down the street, there's that iconic view of downtown Sydney. What a great little find. Look at that. See the bridge poking out as well. Just walked through King's Cross and Potts Point, which is really beautiful. We've come to the sort of southern end of Potts Point. You can see 4 naval ships all docked. They're all flying the Korean flag at half-mast because of the 150 people that got killed in the crush a day or two ago in Seoul. But this place is really nice and really well worth a walk. There are some amazing views into the city and I'm pleased we've not missed it.
Just next to Potts Point is a beautiful stretch of parklands which provides you with another incredible view of the Sydney skyline.
This is the iconic Sydney video. Right here. The Harbour Bridge, the Opera House. You can see the rocks over there just to the left of the Opera House. And then downtown via the Botanical Gardens, which is where we're going to head next. These views just keep getting better and better and better. What a stunning spot. Just come into the Botanical Gardens now. Look at this. What a thing to have 500 metres from downtown. Beautiful. The Botanic Gardens lead straight back to the Opera House, and we couldn't resist another visit. That is one of the most famous buildings in the world, and one that needs absolutely no introduction. Good afternoon from the beautiful Coogee Beach, which is just to the south of Bondi. There's a coastal walk for a couple of kilometres via a few different beaches on the way that takes us from here to Bondi. So we're having a quick food stop. We're going to have a little chill here because it's lovely and sunny and quiet. And then we're going to walk around and have our lunch on Bondi Beach. Not a bad day.
The Coogee to Bondi walk is one of the most iconic beach walks you can do in Sydney. Unfortunately, there's no train station in Coogee, so you'll have to take a bus there.
Farewell Coogee Beach. And the walk takes us along the coast this way. We've left Coogee. Say hello to Gordon's Bay. I love this. You've just got this tiny little bit of beach, protected by this long bay with boat ramps either side, and people just chilling out on the ramps, sunbathing, swimming. Planes are overhead coming into Sydney Airport. It's brilliant. What a beautiful piece of coastline. Look at this water colour. So pleasant. Bondi Beach. Yet another lovely, beautiful, quiet, shaded ribbon of golden sand. So pleasant. And that is Bondi Beach. And it looks beautiful. And this is the end of the walk. Bondi Beach. About an hour and a quarter, hour and a half. Really lovely. Well worth doing. So many nice beaches on the way that you could stop at. And finally, we descend down for the first time ever onto the sands of Bondi Beach. Amazing. Look at that happiness. Well, we went to Bondi Beach. It's a nice beach. It's a surfing beach. There are waves there because it's quite windy. Yeah, it was a bit blowy and a bit whippy and a bit unpleasant for just chilling. So we have backtracked by way of an Uber to Cloverleigh Beach, one of the first beaches on the walk. And
it's a secluded little bay.
It might not be as young or as hip or as iconic, but
Neither are we.
fair enough.
Here's a tip from us. We recommend starting at Bondi and finishing at Coogee. Bondi was great, but Coogee is more relaxed and less busy.
Final stop in Sydney. Welcome to the Sydney Fish Market. Look at the ice falling through the ceiling. That's the world's biggest slushy maker if you add a bit of sauce. We've just loaded up on salmon, tuna and mahi-mahi. You ever had a sashimi bagel? Or a sushi taco? Fresh sashimi from the sashimi bar. Can't argue. That was brilliant. This place is huge. But regrettably, the time has come to leave Sydney, which I feel a tinge of sadness about. It's a nice place. So those are our highlights from Sydney. Now, as promised, a few things to do nearby, starting with the brilliant Blue Mountains.
About an hour and a half to the west of Sydney are the Blue Mountains. This astonishing landscape attracts more than 6 million visitors a year, who come to marvel at the incredible views and forested landscape, all of which is tinged blue by the eucalyptus oil in the air, hence the name.
The main tourist town is a buzzy place called Katoomba, full of cafes, hikers and trail runners. There's actually a train station in Katoomba which links it to Sydney, but if you have a car and can get out of Katoomba, you'll find endless incredible views and some of the finest hiking we found anywhere in Australia.
We spent one night camping in the mountains and a brilliant afternoon in Katoomba, but we both wish that we had spent more time there to explore. We have no doubt that you could easily spend a couple of nights here enjoying this amazing place if you do have the time. As our regular viewers will be well aware, we have a soft spot for wineries.
Look at this, it's so beautiful. This is a $90 a bottle 2017 vintage Shiraz, and it is about the very best that I've drunk so far in Australia.
Just 2 hours north of Sydney is one of Australia's most famous wine regions, the Hunter Valley, which boasts around 150 different vineyards, serving up plenty of Australia's finest drink.
We spent 2 nights in the Hunter and made it to 5 different wineries, from the vast Brokenwood estate to the much smaller and totally delicious Charteris. What do we think of this wine, darling?
It's very quaffable.
Quaffable, that's our new word of the Hunter Valley.
We need to work out how many points it gets in Scrabble.
Quaffable. Wine tastings generally cost about $15 per person, and whilst there were a few bottles in there which we didn't really like, there were plenty of great wines in the mix. Hello from Newcastle. It's kind of cool. It's got a nice vibe.
An hour east of the Hunter Valley is Newcastle, which is the second most populated city in New South Wales. Newcastle gained fame for being the largest coal exporting harbour in the world. It even gained a reputation for being a hellhole, as the most dangerous convicts were sent here to dig the coal mines as punishment for their crimes.
Welcome to Newcastle Beach. How nice is that, look?
Today, Newcastle is a popular place with beautiful sandy beaches, iconic ocean baths, cafes, street art and designer hotels.
Our brief visit to Newcastle was all too short, but we've no doubt that 2 nights here would be time really well spent. So there you have it, guys. A few highlights from our time in Sydney, which we really did enjoy, even if it wasn't quite the experience that we had expected. It's a great spot and it's well worth a few days if you have the chance. But if you are in the region, don't stop there. Get in your car and go and explore the Hunter Valley. Go and see the astonishing Blue Mountains. And go and spend a day or 2 on the beaches of Newcastle. You won't regret it.
Before we sign off, here's a little bonus clip for you all. Whilst we were in the Blue Mountains, something truly disgusting happened to Josh. I nearly choked from laughing so hard and was not a supportive wife. But when you see this, you will forgive me. So Josh is really upset.
And
that over there is what's called a drop toilet. A drop toilet is a large pit dug deep into the ground with a lid on top, and people do what they need to do and it falls down there, and generally the rains come through and wash it away and the worms do their thing. Anyway, just had a good amount of coffee this morning, so the time had come, and as I sat down on the drop toilet and dropped my drop, I felt a large splashback coming upwards from the pit 2 or 3 meters below, which is, I don't even want to think.
you think how many people went before you?
Number ones and number twos and God knows what else besides. So
You were very unhappy.
I returned to the van, stripped off from the waist down. I have washed with everything that I can find with which to wash, and then used hand sanitizer on my legs and my arse cheeks. But my God, that was not particularly kind of the fates or pleasant. Camper vanning. It's not all as glamorous as we make it out to seem. Sometimes it's vicious and cruel, and it keeps you on your toes.
Sometimes
in my case, arse cheeks.
It's literal crap.
Oh. Not happy. Not happy! So there you have it, guys. Sydney and its surroundings, and a cautionary tale about the perils of using a drop toilet.
Join us next time when we explore the amazing Byron Bay.
Thank you so much for watching, and please remember to hit that subscribe button in the top right hand corner.